Hey, everybody, and welcome to IGN's tentatively titled Overclocked podcast. This is our PC podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Mitch Dyer. I'm joined today by Marty Sleva.
Hi, everybody.
The seminal PC gamer himself.
Yeah.
And Dan Stapleton.
I'm actually a Seminole.
You're our actual seminal PC gamer at the office.
Is that like a Native American Seminole?
Sure. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
I don't know that
That's a real Native American.
Okay, I didn't know that. So we have podcasts for Beyond. We have the PlayStation podcast. We have Unlocked, which Marty and I do. But we don't really have a PC podcast here on IGN, which means we're not talking about a lot of really interesting, cool stuff. PC is the biggest platform in the world. It has the most stuff going on. So we're here to talk about it. We're going to have some special guests on the show. We'll get some more IGN editors in here. But for episode 1, hey, it's us.
We did it.
We're here.
We did it. And no one's going to cry in this episode.
Maybe.
Yeah, well,
we'll see how things.
We'll see how the next 45 minutes go.
We'll see how it goes when Dan and I talk about StarCraft and you are confused.
The day is young, Marty.
So I think the most interesting and notable thing going on in PC gaming right now, Dan, is the Arkham Knight Tragedy Hour. I don't know what else to call it.
We're going to start out on a high note. Huh?
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about A Matter of Family, the DLC that you just reviewed. That's the add-on content starring Barbara Gordon.
Which I reviewed on Xbox One because it's not out on PC.
How about that?
Is the game out on PC?
The game is out on PC.
Define out.
So I saw a news story this morning, too. It's getting recalled. In Australia or New Zealand, there's
no. It was the Australian GameStop or some store.
EB Games.
EB, yeah. Okay, so they sent back their stock because it wasn't going to be fixed in time for it to be worth them holding it in their storerooms, taking up space.
Which is insane because the memo they got allegedly from Warner said that game's going to be broken through September, which is when they're expecting the next patch.
Right. So I mean, they said like Australian Spring.
Yeah, which is our yeah.
Which
that is real confusing.
Australian Spring is the name of my memoir.
How do seasons work? Globe.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be a while before they get it up to the level they hope it will be at before they put it back on sale. Which that's not real good news. But on the other hand, it is good news that they're going to wait until it's actually fixed before they start selling it again.
Yeah. So, Dan, you've been covering PC games for longer than Mitch and I have probably combined been in the industry.
Yeah.
I mean, are there other ports that have been this sort of horribly managed?
Yeah, like what was the last game that had this?
Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
But the thing with Dark Souls is, wasn't it? I mean, it's not an excuse, but modders fixed it, which is a terrible excuse. And From was like, or not, probably Namco was like, "Hey, it's fine, we fixed it." It's like, no,
you didn't do anything.
You absolutely can't do that.
Yeah, it was that game. I mean, to be fair, it wasn't like super glitchy and crashy, but the technical quality of it was awful.
Yeah.
It was locked at 720p and upscaled, even if you
cool.
Yeah, if you raise the resolution.
Like a top tier PC port is.
I mean, to be fair, like in that case, it didn't look worse than the console version.
Sure.
It looked the same as the
equal,
console version. But yeah, like the controls were bad. Like the UI was just bare minimum effort to port that over.
I mean, does this stem from?
Oh, also it had games for Windows Live, which is
RIP.
awful.
Good riddance.
I mean,
they finally got rid of it.
Does this stem from like just them being like, hey, we don't think we're gonna have enough sales on PC to warrant the money that's gonna be put to actually get a good port, or is this just afterthought, or is it,
Yeah, I don't know how Arkham City did on PC. I don't even know how Arkham Knight did on PC. I would assume pretty well.
Those games, did fairly well as far as we know.
It was a top seller on Steam when it was broken.
Right.
So doing all right.
Well, yeah, I mean that's like all the pre-orders and everything.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, they've always been respectable. I mean, I don't think they've been like shattering PC sales records. I've always played them on PC because I prefer playing those games with mouse and keyboard.
That's real weird.
Well, I like being able to whip the camera around real fast, and I like being able to not have to mash several buttons at once to execute a combo.
Not so weird anymore.
No,
yeah,
I get it.
Also, it looks like the past games have looked markedly better on PC.
I don't know if you ever saw my PlayStation 3, though. I don't know if you ever saw my Arkham Origins on Wii U.
Okay, wait, did that happen?
No, it was Arkham City on Wii U.
Oh yeah. Oh
with
yeah.
all the touch.
Yeah. I had to review Arkham Origins primarily on PS3, and coming off of playing City on PC, it's like, wow, this does not look as good.
I imagine you like a gorilla, like, what is this thing?
just pretend you have glaucoma. Yeah. Everything's fine.
Just the texture quality alone was just like you couldn't like at 720p and low resolution textures, you couldn't even really see like the texture of Batman's suit, which is really disappointing. But anyway, the PC version of Arkham Knight. It still looked good. Like it next to Arkham City, like if you put those two games side by side, it looks good.
Yeah.
Problem is, it doesn't look good side by side with the PS4 or Xbox One version, which is
hugely
ridiculous.
problematic.
Ridiculous. And they have fixed some of that stuff in a patch that they put out since they pulled it from shelves.
We patched the game you can't buy.
Yeah.
They fixed some of it, not all of it.
Sure.
But to be fair, like a lot of people still have it. If you didn't return it, you still own it. But you didn't. If you bought the season pass.
Sure, that's what I was just going to ask, right? Like if you paid $40 for the season pass, you now not only can't return that, you also can't play the downloadable content. Because
I'm actually not sure. Maybe you might be able to return the season pass.
Okay.
I would actually be surprised if they turned anyone away from that.
Can you do that on Steam, or would that be through WB separately?
It's through Steam.
Okay,
you would buy
that'd be
it through
interesting.
Steam.
WB should do a mea culpa with this. Of like,
Seriously.
here's
a
Shadow
bunch
of
of stuff for
Mordor.
free.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, they should honestly give all that DLC away for free. To
Yeah,
all
totally
PC
on PC.
gamers,
Yeah,
'cause,
100%.
that's just to save face.
I mean, it's the weird thing where, I don't know, and maybe this is just because I play a lot of free-to-play games with cosmetic purchases, but I feel like charging $40 for a season pass where the vast majority of the content is skins is absurd. Like, you are already paying $60 for the privilege to pay more for stuff to look slightly different.
Yeah, I mean, and I wrote an editorial about that a few months ago when they announced it. Announced the season pass was going to be $40 and didn't really tell us what was going to be in it.
Yeah. And they still really haven't, because
Right,
there's a
and-
lot of stuff to come, and we're like, okay, you're doing all these episodes, but what are they?
Right. So Batgirl was the first month. Second month is just going to be skins and a new Batmobile. You can't even drive around Gotham. It's just for
is that the Batman '89 one?
Yeah.
which is cool. But,
Yeah,
but
totally
like I
cool.
can't drive that around Gotham. It's
Yeah,
just
because, and it can't transform into a tank. I'm imagining. 'Cause
That
it's
makes
all
it the
long
best
and-
Batmobile in the whole game.
right. But I don't oppose the tank concept. Like I think it fits poorly in there, but it's still.
I think, the
it's
thing
fun.
I think we were talking to you, or maybe it was on a show earlier this week. I was like, the tank combat is good. I just don't want it in that game.
Right. It's just not. It's not up to the level of the brawling or predator fights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also just inappropriate, I think.
I
Just
haven't
doesn't
beaten the
fit
game. Is the
Batman.
Predator in it?
Yikes, sorry, dude.
Batman v Predator.
Batman v Predator coming soon.
That actually has happened in comics.
Of course.
Oh
it
yeah, there
has.
was that like short film where Batman fought the Predator.
Al-
Like
also-
there was a fan made.
Oh, yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
I did
Yep.
not see this.
There's
I think-
also a Batman Aliens crossover in the comics.
Man.
A Paul W.S. Anderson classic.
So
Where
is the,
were we?
how's the Batgirl DLC just as a like how is it?
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty much sad to say what I expect from Batman DLC. Like I haven't been impressed by any of it.
Yeah.
What about
like,
Cold Heart? You didn't.
That was probably the best of it.
Yeah.
But it's still just kind of a short
Side story
samey
thing.
It's like, oh, here's Mr. Freeze's story again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always disappointing when the DLC is structured like a comic book one-shot.
Yep.
It's not even like a small arc or anything. Like, I'd be surprised if the Arkham episodes are connected episodically in any way, shape, or
No,
form.
not at all.
I'm sure the next one will be a Nightwing thing where, oh, Batman's been kidnapped, because everyone in Arkham gets kidnapped, and you just have to go fight some guys to rescue him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I and part of my editorial for why it's absurd they were charging $40 for this is because they haven't had a good track record with DLC. It just hasn't been impressive. I would not recommend paying $40 for like the entirety of the DLC they put out. I think the challenge maps are the only thing I've liked, and they're
not that good this time around.
they haven't done any. Like
Yeah.
they have the AR challenge maps, which you can't swap in characters, which is like weird because that's something you'd think you could do in a command line.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that too.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, and like especially after all the outcry from people who were really into it's like, hey, I want to play as Azrael in the challenge
Sure.
maps. Let me do that. You would think that they would just say, okay, let's do that, because it can't be that hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, Azrael especially, who's just most of them are just skin swaps, but at least
and the missions with Azrael in the actual game are basically Azrael challenge maps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't go back and replay those.
Yeah.
Without
Yeah, man, good
it's
point.
like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Can Rocksteady recover from this? Because I know a lot of people are laying the blame on the feet of WB Montreal, who made this DLC, for it like not living up to certain standards or whatever. Like, for me, it's
Well, for the DLC or for the
DLC
PC port?
Well, did Montreal do the PC version as well?
I mean, yeah, they've done the PC version of the DLC, but the DLC on PC is not out yet because
Right. Okay.
it's all like well,
What a
we're not
mess.
selling it until
So the quality of the DLC is setting a rough standard, and people are saying, well, the Rocksteady ones will be better, but that doesn't make that $40 season pass any better. Like, this is just a constant series of errors for them, where everything along the way is like, Well, that's not very good. That looks bad. That's unfortunate.
We have no reason to believe that the Rocksteady DLC will be any better because the
agree with
Rocksteady DLC hasn't been any better for the last few games.
Yeah.
So, and like this one wasn't bad. It was just really short.
Sure, yeah.
And
Insubstantial
like self-contained. Like
yeah.
you can't play as Batgirl anything beyond that map.
Yeah.
Which is dumb because you went to all the effort to create that model, that character model, and not let me do anything with her.
Yeah.
It's like after that hour.
Yeah.
Come on.
I feel like the way that all of this ends on a happy note is that somehow the last DLC allows you to play as someone else in the DC universe. As it's like an hour as Green Arrow or Wonder Woman or
awesome.
Superman.
But
that would be
you'd have to
insane.
completely revamp the
But how
mechanics of the game.
amazing would that be as a
Green Arrow would be
finale?
cool.
Green Arrow would be cool. Yeah.
I think even Superman, like them, like
Superman would not work. That would be bad.
I think
Every time you punch a guy, it's
just
that
flies through a
shotgun noise. And he just flies out of the city.
the walls explode like when a Batmobile drives through it. It's just Dragon Ball Z at that point. I would play that.
But yeah, so to answer your question, can they recover? I'd say the only way to recover or to save face would be a Game of the Year edition that fixes all of this stuff.
That you then have to pay for again.
Well, are you talking about on PC specifically, or are you talking about the deals? You're
generally.
talking about a bunch of different things.
Yeah. There are a lot of problems to cover here, Dan.
So saving face on the PC, I would say give everybody all the DLC content free.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I think that would be an appropriate mea culpa.
And Ubisoft's been really good about that, right? I think it was.
Yeah, after Unity.
Yeah, Unity was such a mess, and there was also
being good about cleaning up mistakes is such a sad thing to have to praise people for. But yes, okay, you botched it. Make it good.
Yeah.
Yes, we approve of when you do that, but it's so sad
just
to be in a situation where
just don't do bad in the first place.
Yeah.
We're all happy, and I'll gladly pay you.
Yeah, it's so sad to be in a situation where it's like, well, who handled their massive mistakes best? Anyway, but
top 10 best handled mistakes of the year.
Odd numbers.
Oh, my bad. 11. Top 11. Because let's be honest, there's probably another one.